Buenos días, buenas tardes, buenas noches, bonjour, bonsoir, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, wherever you may be. Happy Saturday, feliz sábado, joyeux samedi. It is Saturday, the weekend is here. And I am going to tackle right now one of the missing persons. To me, there are two missing persons. There is Brandon, who has not said a word, and of course there is Roman, who has not said a word. And this is a big subject. I've been trying to figure out what exactly Roman did wrong, how he got caught, and why. And typical of the Jay Slater case, the more you dig, the more branches and avenues you have to go down, the more people are involved. So this is probably going to be part one of maybe two or three, because there are three mayors, as far as I can see, involved in this, and they all have relevance to the Jay Slater case, and figuring out which one is responsible for what action isn't easy. I'm going to be throwing a lot of facts at you, just trying to straighten out the background, and then we can get to our theorizing about what's happened and why. So, a few facts. Here are three mayors involved. Let's actually step back a second. There is no mayor of Tenerife. This is going to blow your mind. Tenerife, the island, is split up into 31 municipios. A municipio is like a municipality. Get this, there are 31 mayors in Tenerife. So just imagine 31 Romans running around doing their own thing. No wonder the place is total chaos. And for every mayor, there's going to be an ex-mayor. Remember, Roman is an ex-mayor. So 31 times 2, I guess there must be at least the same number of ex-mayors. That's a lot of people getting up to a lot of nonsense. So that's the situation. The three mayors we've got to investigate: Roman Antonio Martin Canaves, obviously, Roman. There's also Jose Miguel Rodriguez Fraga. He is the mayor, and the Fragas are a big family in Tenerife. He's the mayor of Adeje. Adeje. Adeje is where Papagayo nightclub is. So he's involved with this. And there's a third mayor, Emilio Jose Navarro Castanedo. He's the mayor of Santiago del Teide, which, if you remember, is the town where some people thought they saw Jay, 6 p.m. on that Monday. There was CCTV grainy footage of someone that looked like Jay walking through the main square. That town, Santiago. So three different mayors involved. And we do need to examine each one of them, what role they have to play in all this. Okay, so there's some basic background information. The first article I pulled up was from a newspaper called El Debate, and if I remember, I'll put some links in the description for you. Normally I don't. You know me, it's turn the camera on, turn the microphone on, speak, click, publish, that's it. But I'll try to remember to put some links if you really want to follow up on this. It's a bit of a pain, quite honestly. The local press in Tenerife, you can imagine, if you just Googles the mayor's name, you have 100 articles about, Roman giving Student of the Year a certificate in the local high school. There's a lot of nonsense out there that doesn't apply to this. So I'm making a big sacrifice for you. I'm digging through a lot of stuff that is irrelevant, hoping to find a few nuggets. But anyway, in the article by El Debate, they do go over what happened. I don't know about you, but I usually skip the article. I'm really fascinated by the comments at the end these days. They can tell you a whole lot. So before I read the whole article, I went down to the comments, and there are two brave people had something to say about Roman and his legal problems. I'll read those first. I find them interesting. It is interesting. In the UK, often you get the typical Sun reader that will have a comment and it's one word, like plonker or wanker, something like that. A corrupt bastard, 2-word review there. In France, these comments that go with newspaper articles is like a treatise on philosophy. It's like someone's writing volumes and someone writes volumes back. At least in Spanish, they're fairly succinct. Anyway, this one guy, Alonso, what did he write about Roman's episode? He wrote, no entiendo que los delincuentes políticos sean condenados a inhabilitación y no a prisión. I do not understand why political criminals are condemned to just disqualification or disbarred from office and never prison. Yeah, good point. Why is it that some of them never go to prison? It's just, you've lost your job. He said, algo falla. Alonso says, algo falla. Something's not right. Yeah, something's wrong here. Esta gente es impune. These people impune is, they get off scot-free. You cannot punish them. The only other comment that was relevant, Roberto Garcia, he said, otro bandido de la banda organizada de forajidos llamada PSOE, nada nuevo. Another bandit of the organized gang of outlaws that are called PSOE. PSOE is the Socialist Party of Spain. And Roberto Garcia says, nada nuevo, nothing new. Now, I hope Alonso and Roberto Garcia are both alive and well, because having put their names to a very critical comment to Roman, they also could be above me in Roman's hit list. So Alonso, Roberto Garcia, well said. I am right behind you, literally behind you. If you're 1 and 2 in line, I'm 3. That's good news. So what was the charge against Roman? In essence, Roman opened what is called a mini residencia y centro de día de mayores. So mayores are older people. This mini residencia, this mini residence, had a certain number of beds for grandma that had to be accommodated somewhere, but it was mini, and it was a daycare center or a day center for old people. Now, this sounds wonderful. You know, what a great guy, Roman, using the municipality's money for such a worthwhile project. But it didn't start with him. This project started before Roman was the mayor, so we can't give him credit for that. Roman decided to finish the project off. Problem was, and this is where we don't really know why. I want to dig into the why. Problem is, Roman finished the building, completed everything, but did not get any certification for it. It wasn't built to code. In fact, when the head architect came to do a final inspection, he said it was not in a state to house anyone, and that the whole procedure had been ignored by Roman. So the question is, why? Why in such a hurry to open this place to the point where you would sacrifice all the rules? That's what I don't really get. I mean, you're going to wreck your whole political career to open a place for grandma because you really want grandma to be in there? Something's not adding up, and that's what we've got to get to. So let me just go through some of the details. After the hearing, we'll call it a hearing, it's not a trial. After the hearing, Roman was sentenced to 12 years disbarred from office, inhabilitación, disqualified, I guess is the word. 12 years disqualified from any public office. So Roman, if he wants to be dog catcher tomorrow, he can't be. He cannot hold public office. Before we go any further, you've got to understand that Roman was the mayor of a place called El Tanque. El Tanque, that's a great name, by the way, El Tanque. El Tanque is the municipality next to Masca. Masca is not in El Tanque municipality. That's in a different one. El Tanque is next to Masca, but it's also next to Santiago, where Jay was seen on CCTV. Well, the image of Jay. So those two are next to each other. And then way down by Papagayo's nightclub and all that, that is Adeje. So, yes, so Roman, he's mayor of this very small municipality. El Tanque has a population of 2,700. I looked at that, it was very small. Why such a burning need to get this place open, violate all the rules, lose your job, your reputation, and everything? This is what doesn't make sense. I'm going to try to make sense of it. Okay, back to the observations made. So he was told no public office for 12 years, and the finding mentioned the following. This is worth going through. It's kind of interesting. The hearing found that there was an inobservancia de las más elementales normas del procedimiento, a violation of the most basic rules of this procedure, of the building procedure. The hearing mentioned claro abuso de poder, a clear abuse of power. Now, his argument, Roman's argument, was he opened it because it was in the general interest. That was rejected. Okay, the hearing, it said, rechaza la tesis de un interés general. They reject the whole idea of opening it in the general interest. It says that Roman impuso su caprichosa o arbitraria voluntad en perjuicio del interés público. Basically, he opened it of his own free will, contrary to the public interest. Furthermore, Roman knew this. When he started to say, I did it out of the general interest, I didn't really know all this. All of the documentation was produced that showed he had been told this. So imagine my surprise, Roman is caught lying. There we go. So that was the offence. Not just there'd been an obstruction of justice, but it was in full knowledge of the law. Now this is going way, way back. This residence was opened in 2014. So all of these hearings, if you see photos of Roman, he's got the COVID mask on. This was all going, this was happening in 2020, the hearings and the dismissal from office. The actual opening of the Old People's Centre was 2014. This is going way, way back. In 2015, it was inspected by the municipal architect, blah, 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 and he confirmed there was no certification, it should never have been opened, the final works were not completed, and case closed. One little interesting note, the whole case was brought by a man called Pablo Estevez, who was the mayor before Roman. So there's a political intrigue here. The former mayor of the former mayor, if you like, he was the one that wrote to the political party, PSOE, the Socialist Party of Spain. He demanded that they apply their code of ethics, que aplique su código ético a Roman, that they apply their code of ethics to Roman, and that he should be ousted from office. One little detail I liked, because this was during COVID, at one point Roman said he couldn't attend the hearing because of the number of COVID cases in the municipality. When they checked how many COVID cases there were in the whole of El Tanque municipality, there were 2. and none of them connected with the city hall. So, I mean, Roman, good try, but actually, luckily there were two. What if there was one? But anyway, that's one little aside there. Roman prevented the opposition party, this Pablo Estevez, the former mayor, prevented him getting the relevant documents. Now listen to this. And what was Pablo Estevez, not Emilio Estevez, but Pablo Estevez, what was he after? He was trying to get what's called contratación ilegal de trabajadores municipales. He was trying to look at the contracts and agreements that had been signed because he was asserting they were all illegal workers. I don't know, my mind goes to Moroccans that are not legally there. That's just what came to mind when this guy said I couldn't find any legal documents on the workers. Now then, one more quote. Pablo Estevez, the former mayor, he said, nos trataba, he's talking about Roman, nos trataba como si no fuéramos nada y nos negaba la mínima información. He treated us like we were nothing and he denied us all information, especialmente sobre las contrataciones con una empresa supuestamente vinculada al PSOE. Listen to this bit, especially the documents about contracts por lo que sospechaba that we suspect were in connection with the construction itself. So now we enter the world of why hide the contractors, the property developers that were involved with this. You see, I keep getting back to this, why the rush to open it? Was your contractor, your construction company, your developer, did they drop the ball? Did they screw you over? Did they do you bad in this? Did they let you down? Or are we talking about contractors that bailed you out, that they got the job done anyway, even though they knew it was illegal? For what reason? Again, you're a construction company. The mayor says, I want you to finish this job. Fine. Can you give us the paperwork? No. My first reaction is then I'm not sure we can do it. But someone said yes. I don't know. Do you? I don't know. Is there anyone out there on the island involved in property development, construction, this type of work that would say to a dodgy mayor, sure, we'll do it, pay cash? Who could that be? You tell me. All right, that's the outline of Ramon's deal. Now, the second part of my investigation is to find out where exactly the Staycare Centre was and what, I'll just say it, what secondary role did it have? Because my thinking is there must be a reason why he had to get it open. There must be a reason, and it's not connected with grandma being accommodated. There must be a reason why he ignored all the rules, and it's connected with some other business. I don't know what that could be. Old People's Centre, you know what? Who's going to go into an Old People's Centre and say we suspect that we're going to do a search? You know what? You know where I'm going with this. Is that project some kind of ideal project to be a facade for another business? Just like the Airbnb in Muscat is a fake Airbnb. Was that Old People's Home a fake Old People's Home? I'm throwing it out as a question, Roman. I'm not alleging anything. I'm just asking the question. Was it a fake Old People's Home? Okay, let's call the end of that the end of part one. This parts 2 and 3. But I'll let you digest that. Any comments you want, fine. And thanks for all the comments yesterday on my ignorance on what kind of substance would propel you off the edge. We'll cover that in another one because most people agreed it just seems unlikely any substance would have done that. But one or two were saying maybe the right cocktail, yeah, it's possible. But let's end it there. Hasta luego. Hasta la vista, baby, and adios.